In class. My name is Alan Skinner, and today I will discuss the importance of the Kings Mountain Battle of 7 October 1780. I will describe the battle in its context of the American Revolution, discuss historiographical views of its significance, and summarize post-war preservation efforts before sharing my own thoughts on the value of using Kings Mountain as a venue for teaching history. So following the Saratoga campaign of late 1777, the British government realized the war was stalemated. Faced with King George's refusal to abandon the war, British Secretary of State for America, Lord George Germain, decided to change strategy and target the southern colonies. This strategy assumed enough loyalist militiamen would enlist to permit regular forces to sequentially reconquer the South. So after extensive preparations and a long siege, Sir Henry Clinton's amphibious force captured Charleston in May of 1780. And so afterwards, Clinton left Earl Charles Cornwallis with 8,000 men to pacify the region. And in charge of organizing the Loyalist militia was Major Patrick Ferguson. Ferguson was an intelligent and resourceful infantry officer trusted by Clinton, but viewed with some skepticism by Cornwallis. So after destroying General Horatio Gates's army at Camden in August of 1780, Cornwallis decided to invade North Carolina before pacification tasks were complete. Despite Cornwallis's strong reservations, Ferguson was sent along the Blue Ridge Mountains to support the advance to Charlotte. Ferguson's threat to the Overmount region provoked Patriot leaders, including Isaac Shelby and John Sevier, to assemble a punitive expedition, which was exhorted by a Presbyterian minister who invoked the sword of the Lord and Gideon. And so on 7 October 1780, some 1,000 Patriot riflemen assaulted Ferguson's corps at Kings Mountain. Ferguson's men were well trained in standard British linear tactics, but Ferguson failed to adapt his tactics to the terrain. By contrast, the Patriot riflemen adapted their guerrilla tactics to inflict heavy casualties on their Tory enemies. And so after an hour of combat, the Loyalists ran out of ammunition and Ferguson was killed during a final breakout attempt. About 300 Tories were killed, many while trying to surrender, and some 700 captured along with their weapons and wagon train. Afterwards, 9 of the Loyalist commanders were hung during the Patriot withdrawal. News of Ferguson's destruction depressed Loyalist morale, and Cornwallis suspended his offensive, thereby allowing General Nathaniel Greene to seize the initiative in the Carolinas. So after the battles of the Cowpens and Guilford Courthouse, Cornwallis abandoned the Carolinas and was ultimately defeated at Yorktown in October 1781. Historian Dan Morrill saw the Loyalist defeat as a, quote, the turning point in the American Revolution in the South. Even though the Redcoats continued to pursue the elusive goal of quelling the rebellion, the fate of the King's fortunes had been sealed by Ferguson's destruction, end quote. Morrill's opinion is echoed in several other secondary works, including my own. Other historians like Robert Middlecoff view the battle through a tactical lens and overlook how the defeat affected Loyalist support. Perhaps the best authority on the subject was Sir Henry Clinton, who afterwards said, quote, unhappily proved the first link in a chain of evils that followed each other in regular succession until at last ended in the total loss of America, end quote. So 500 acres of the battlefield were bought in 1797 by Frederick Hambright, one of the Patriot commanders at the battle. And in 1880, 40 acres of the land, including Battleground Ridge, was bought by the Kings Mountain Centennial Association and later deeded to the Daughters of the American Revolution. That property was later ceded to the War Department in 1930 and in turn transferred to the National Park Service in 1931. And so today, Kings Mountain is part of a network of superbly interpreted sites across South Carolina, all of which provide excellent opportunities for the study of individual battles or the entire Southern campaign. I regularly use Kings Mountain for facilitating what the Army calls staff rides, a battle evaluation which includes walking the battlefield and using Army leadership principles to analyze different facets of the battle. And the park is well marked and interpreted and features a modest museum and a movie theater. And lastly, the staff are well trained in living history interpretive methods. So thank you very much for watching my presentation today. Feel free to like and leave comments. And this concludes my presentation.